Welcome back to the North Remembers the Tall Tales for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And our episode 2 is called The Shit Night. So, I like how, starting off, they're doing cold opens. Do you think they're going to keep doing that? Like the no
I wouldn't call it a cold open because there's really no intro. They just kind of do a recap and then it starts.
Yeah, and then like no intro. Yeah. It's not even really a cold open because a cold open is an opening before the intro, right?
Yeah, and then it kind of continues.
Okay, so I wonder if they're going to keep going with that. It is kind of cool because it's like we don't need to spend a bunch of money and stuff showing you all that there's no real great house that's going to stick around.
Well, yeah, like
it's about Duncan Egg, you know what I mean?
Well, like we were talking about before, I think they're going to take a lot more of a lighthearted approach to, you know, the comedy of it, the structuring of it. We're getting flashbacks, you know. I don't know. I think it's refreshing from a Game of Thrones standpoint.
Yeah, you still get the violence and obviously the gratuitous nudity, which brings us to the second scene. Ser Arlen, right as the cold open, walks out of his little shack, which I presume a whore was in there, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll be back in a minute.
You stay in there.
You stay in there, yeah. And it's cold, presumably. Looks cold. But, man.
Guy's packing.
Yeah. Like, weapon of mass destruction.
And it's funny because while they're narrating it, I'm pretty sure you hear Dunk say, he had a peaceable nature.
Yeah.
And it's like right when he whips
it
He had
a real peaceable nature.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then he takes a piss. They're like going as hard with the FCC right off the bat. They showed a runny shit. And then...
Yeah, episode 1 was runny shit.
Episode 2, fucking
Longest
biggest dong we can show on the air. We want to show. And what can we show it doing? Well, peeing is about all we're going to let you show. Okay, then that's what we're
Well, they
do.
did confirm it was a prosthetic, not that anybody really needed that confirmed.
Yeah, that's
but
pretty
it
obvious.
was, as far as prosthetic goes with the peeing action and everything, I don't know if that was CG, but it looked good.
Yeah, that looked real. Real intimidating. And then it goes on to basically, after that visual, while he's describing Ser Arlen's nature, it has him like, he'd given some of his silver to the small folk, around town, riding off to Ashford, singing, having a good time.
Kind of slowly declining as
he had like a wound, which I don't recall in the book, but it didn't really go into why he died.
Well, I think it was a visual representation of him declining. He gets slow when the horse kind of goes up that little hill or whatever. He's like, whoo,
lightheaded and shit.
I want to quickly mention, so we don't forget, the whole time he's singing this, I'm assuming is an HBO original song. We haven't heard about this before, but I'm gonna go see a girl in Ashton. Hi ho, hi ho.
Ashford, yeah. He changes it to Ashford because in the book he even says he changes it to Ashford. I'm off to see a maid and it's somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
And Ser Arlen changed it to Ashford because they were on their way to Ashford.
Okay.
But it doesn't have any lyrics about it. Just hi ho, hi ho. That's all it ever says about it.
But the ones in the show are pretty good. I like it.
Yeah.
It seems like a promising song.
And he's showing him, like, talking about his prowess as a warrior, how he was a good fighter and he never gave up. And it shows him, like, training Dunk, and Dunk's, like, too big and fucking knocks him down. And like
that's what he's like, but he had a chiseled jaw or whatever, chin of steel.
Yeah, and he was a friend, a warrior, a veteran of 1,000 battles, but an enemy to no one because he was just a hedge knight and stuff. He was talking, like, good about him, and come to find out he's talking to all the lords at this point. He's talking to all the lords to be like, don't you remember him? I served him, we served you, and he was good, right? And no
one remembers him, and it kind of ends on Tyrell
just like chewing fucking jerky or something, and I don't remember him. Just cold as hell, and he's all sad, and then he's walking with Egg, and Egg's like, they don't remember your shit night. He's like, it wasn't a shit night. Well, it wasn't a very good one if no one remembers him. And he just tells him basically, why do you care what these, nobles think? Why do you let them treat you like dirt?
Why do you let them treat you like you're betters? And he's like, they are.
Yeah. You're too, brave for your own good and
brazen,
shit.
yeah.
Oh yeah, because he says, "Why don't you just say fuck the list, call out Tyrell, and turn his asshole into a lancehole?" Oh man, that had the whole house laughing with that one. Yeah, and he basically says, I have to. Somebody will remember him. Ser Arlen was a good knight. Someone has to remember him.
Yeah.
You know. And then, dun, 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 off come the trumpets, and he's what's going on? You hear horses.
Grabs a little person. He goes,
Yeah,
who's coming into town? And he's like, can't you see the banners? He's giant.
And of course, it's the three-headed dragon of House Targaryen, and Baelor and everybody arrives, and it's our first look at Baelor.
Well, before they get in, that's when Egg, because we all know he's a Targaryen. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like,
Egg
maybe I should go back to camp, take care of stuff, make sure there's no bandits coming by or anything.
Yeah. Can I have a sword? No, you have a knife. That'll be good enough.
He's like, I'll sick the dogs on you.
Yeah, he's like, if you rob me, I'll sick dogs on you. He's like, you don't have dogs. He's like, I'll get some. That was cute and good acting on both their parts.
They're getting a good chemistry.
Yeah, real good chemistry. I like that. So the Targaryens arrive, and at this point, Egg is trying to go back to Lord Ashford's manor to kind of get, Dunk is, I'm sorry, heading back to Lord Ashford to try to tell him, hey, no one will vouch for me. Can I still,
Not even Lord Ashford, the Master of Games. He hasn't met Lord Ashford.
Yeah. He's just trying to get somebody to be like, is it still okay? Even though nobody will say it's cool. And Arion shows up, first thing, and...
Well, they announce him. The guy, it says Baelor, the prince, and he's going to be...
All these names, the noble Prince Baelor.
And his brother.
Mirka.
But he says it Mirka or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's just the actor is... accent that couldn't really nail it, but it also seemed to play like, and this guy, I'm gonna fuck up his name too.
Yeah, the younger brother who's not gonna be king, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you get a first look at all the actors. I thought, my impression was that Maekar was gonna be a little older looking.
I think they still kind of nailed it though. I mean, the short hair.
Oh yeah,
and
Baelor having the dark hair of a Targaryen,
the chisel,
Martell mother,
and like the pissed off look of an old guy. But Baelor he's supposed to be a little bit darker because he's Dornish, half Dornish or something like that. But they did give him like a
good stare.
No, the different eyes. What's that called? Eye colors.
Then the Valyrian eyes.
Either way, so he's got one of each eyes. Basically, they're like, we're not going to make him fully Dornish looking, but we'll give him different eye color.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
And then we see Arion. And that's the real short hair.
Yeah, which is a little different in the book. It's supposed to be like a little longer, like mid curly, but that doesn't matter. I think he looks more like intimidating and a prick with the chiseled bones with the short hair.
It's kind of almost like a young Damien.
Yeah, and with the helmet, it makes more sense with the helmet that we've all seen in the trailers he's going to be wearing,
Yeah.
That you would have that short cropped hair. And he does have that, the actor, that pompous attitude. He pulled off the arrogant Targaryen attitude so perfectly.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how he's going to play that going forward.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But it's also kind of weird. His nickname is the Bright Flame, but he was in like all dark, like dark tunic, dark cape, everything. Yeah. In the books, it's like he's like, or book, I don't know. He's like bright red and yellow.
Yeah, and he's armed at that point too. He's like in full armor when they arrive. Like,
oh, maybe that's why.
Full shit.
They didn't put him in armor. Maybe his armor. No, because his armor is dark in the Jets. Either way.
They take some liberties to make him probably look more intimidating. The bright red, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a little too Superman or Iron Man.
Yeah.
He looks like Iron Man, dude. We gotta make it black.
Yeah.
But,
he mistakes Dunk for a stable boy.
Yeah, he mistakes him for a stable boy and says, can take my horse? Rub it down, all that stuff. He's like, I'm sorry, my lord, I'm not a stable boy. Okay, well then,
find what? Not clever enough.
Yeah, not clever enough. Like, you're not clever enough to scoop shit and feed the horses. Okay, then at least you could find wine and a good-looking woman. You know what those are, right? He's like, I don't do that either. I'm not a serving guy either.
I have the honor of being a knight.
He's like, oh. And he looks at him with such disdain. It was perfect. Like,
knighthood has fallen on hard times. Sad times.
Just walks away. And then they're trying to get his horse wrangled, and the horse rears up and fucking nails the shit out of this dude's nose, which is not in the book, by the way.
Rocked his dome.
And Egg, or Dunk, I keep getting those two mixed up, those names. Dunk takes the horse into the stables and calms it down and tells it, you know, it's okay, I don't like so many people around either, I understand. That's not in the book. But they use that as a time for him to meet the Kingsguard, which he does do in the book. They kind of mash up the timing from the book in the show. Certain things happen, which we'll discuss as they go, but happen at different times in the book that they do in the show. For instance, he meets the Kingsguard outside, not in the stables, and in the stables he's trying to see if he could sell his horse, which, spoiler, you'll find out in a few minutes, he does later in the episode. Anyway, the Kingsguard are really cool. I love their fucking armor.
Yeah, I mean, at
They
first
look like
glance, it almost looked like
Lord of the Rings.
costumey. Well, it's almost gonna be like they're like medieval stormtroopers.
Yeah, I thought it looked like Lord of the Rings. I was like, it looked like fucking the Knights of Minas Tirith or something, like the heavy soldiers.
Well, what I realized was once they kind of zoom in on it a little bit, they're like grimied up. It would be a lot flashier, Kingsguardy, but they've been on the road, you know.
Yeah, so it's a little grimy,
yeah,
a little dirty.
But they look really cool.
Yeah, they look cool. And he's like, good God, man. They introduced themselves first, and their names escape me. Dondarrion was one.
No, it was someone of Duskendale.
Oh, yeah, Duskendale.
And then the other guy's some pompous little bitch.
Yeah, he's an asshole. But he's, he says, good God, man. Did you ride your horse or did it ride you? And the other guy says, I apologize for my friend. He is not used to talking down to somebody while looking up, meaning like Dunk is fucking huge. He's not used to like talking shit to somebody
Still
so
gonna
big.
talk down on you.
He's still gonna talk shit, but he's not used to doing it to somebody who could like, whoa. But then he asks him, you know, tell me, Ser Duncan, is there any proper place to take a shit around here? And he's like, no.
Not really, no.
He's like really upset about it. Which
Like,
when you get older, you understand. You know, that could be an issue. Like, no.
I'm about to hold it, and the not Dondarrion, got me all messed up. Duskendale, he's like, yeah, he's not gonna stoop himself to using hay. He'll hold it for the whole time.
His ass isn't fancy.
Dunk's like, I don't think he's gonna hold it, dude.
Yeah, he's gonna make it by week's end. You know.
Yeah.
And they just talked about, you know, he's like, you don't spell house, bro, to Dunk. Kind of thing. He's like, I don't have a house, kind of thing. And he said, neither did we, you know, the Duskendales.
Yeah, he's like, I know your family's from nowhere because that's where mine's from.
Yeah, I know what it's like. That's where mine's from. And he's like, aren't you Darkwind of Duskendale? And he's like, yes, we started out as humble crabbers or something like that. And he's like, And then he asks him, as they're about to leave, how is it, sir, that a man goes from being the son of a crabber to being a knight of the Kingsguard? And he said the same way we became crabbers, which I don't get what that means. Bend the knee. I guess you'd have to know the history, and you think with all the
I
books
think it's
I've
more
listened to-
simplistic is that kind of giving Dunk hope is like, we just did it. Like, you get a boat or a little
A
crab
sword,
trap or whatever.
Do what you're doing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do what you're doing.
If you're good, you'll make it.
So then they go off to do their thing, and Dunk sees a little side door open, which...
Well, before that, real quick, I want to cut it. And he goes, right after he gets done talking to them, like another guy shows up with a horse. He goes,
oh, fuck.
Excuse me, are you Baelor Targaryen? And he's like, no. And he goes, then can you get the fuck out of the way?
Yeah, it's those little moments of humor are what the funniest parts of it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, sorry. And then as he goes outside, he sees the little side door.
A little servant girl will use a little door.
And he's like, okay, I'll sneak in to go talk to the master of the game. And while he's in there, he hears Baelor and Maekar talking about the sons being missing, Darien and Aegon being missing on the road. And the Lord Ashford talks about how the rivers have swollen and maybe that's it, And fucking...
Delayed him because the river's big.
Maekar's just fucking not buying it. That they're not delayed.
And they kind of talk about how he's like, Darren didn't want to be in the joust. Like, it's your fault for forcing him to...
Yeah, before that he says, fuck
this.
me. And he's like, do not be rude to our gracious house. I said, fuck me, not fuck him.
Yeah.
It's not his fault Father made us come to this circus, you know? And he's like, Darien has done this before, you know?
It's your fault for making him join
Enter
the
the
list.
games.
Yeah. And he's
I'm
kind of
sure
like
I'm-
going off about how, like, there was a quip about, are you saying that he'd rather ride whores
Yeah,
than
he's not meant.
horses?
Yeah, he's not meant for tourneys anyway. And he's like, what do you mean? He'd sooner ride a whore than a horse.
He's like,
That's
that's not
not
what I
what I
meant.
said.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm well aware of my son's failings. He will change. He has to change, or by God, I'll see him dead. You know, he's like a dick, but he doesn't seem that sincere about it. Not like
I think he really is kind of worried about his kids.
He is. Yeah, he's not sincere about the killing. I mean, like saying I'll see him dead. He seems like just like a dad that says that, like, oh, I'll fucking beat him bloody, or
It's
I'll
like
beat his
Homer,
ass.
Homer choking Bart.
Yeah,
you know?
like you're not really gonna kill him. But then he's overhears, you know. Well, they're sitting there talking, and then he sees Dunk listening. Oh wait, before
The
that,
little
though,
girl shows up.
the little maid of the
maid.
games,
Yeah.
yes, plain-looking girl, like she says in the book, you know, like it says in the book,
How
the
dare
dragon
you.
girl
She's
is
beautiful. little
the
lady.
dragon girl is prettier. Anyway, well, no, what she does in a minute makes her not pretty. Okay. Here, she goes up and she just explains to Dunk what he's hearing. She's like, the princes are missing, probably dead.
There's a lot of
have-
bandits in the area.
Yeah, wars have started for less. And he's like, Dunk he does kind of sit there kind of dumbfounded a lot. He's just like,
He's, oh, okay.
he's like, oh, yeah, like totally. And she's like, you're big and stupid.
Yeah.
Like, fucking
Goes to fake hit him.
And he flinches. Like he's
Yeah.
big as shit. Little girl, and he's still like,
I almost took it as maybe she kind of like had a crush on him. Like he's a
Yeah.
big, tall man.
I wonder if she's gonna be I thought about that too upon second watch. Is she gonna be more valuable to the story as somebody that like testifies for him, testifies against him,
Speaks up, yeah,
you know,
near the
makes
end.
up a story about him, you know, to further make him look bad because she looks like a
Or
little
could
conniving.
flip, and she could be a little shit.
Yeah.
She could be on Arian's side.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. And be like, oh yeah, he did this. He came on to me in the castle and shit. And then everybody's like, well, he fucking kidnaps princes.
Yeah,
he
like
beats
Game
other
of Thrones
ones.
Me Too moment.
Yeah, a whole bad situation. But Makar, at that point, he keeps listening, and Makar catches it. And Dunk, and he tells him, you know, come here. You know, what do you mean by spying on us, kind of thing. It's like, I don't mean to interrupt, my lords.
Yeah, he comes in and he notices the master of the game's there.
And then
Lord
Master of the
Ashford's
Game's
there.
like,
Yeah, and Lord Ashford's there, and the princes, and he goes, I don't mean to spy, I don't mean to interrupt or whatever. I just wanted to enlist, and
Nobody will match
Targaryen and none of the other knights who I know Ser Arlen, he served for all of them, aren't vouching, and I just want to enlist. And he's like, I'm wondering, talking to Baelor, do you remember him?
yeah,
He
he faced you in a tourney at this and that.
Well, he doesn't even say that. He just goes, "Do you remember him? You may have forgot." And
Yeah,
he goes,
and he's like-
Ser Arlen, and he played this character so well.
while
Like,
he's
like,
eating,
humble and remembers everything, but he also holds himself like regally, like he's still a prince, you
Yeah.
know. But he's like Ser Arlen, because he unhorsed the Gray Lion,
at a tourney at Lannisport,
yeah,
or a tourney at King's Landing.
or something like that. And he's like, yeah, and he goes, he told me that many times. He goes, well, if he did, you'd remember his name then.
The Grey Lion's true name.
Yeah, and he
And
stumbles around for a little bit.
Thinking like, if I don't remember this, I am fucked. This
Yeah.
is my shot. And he remembers, you know, Lannister, and he says the name or whatever.
Damon Lannister.
Damon Lannister.
Who's now head of.
Yeah, he's now the Lord of
Casterly.
Casterly Rock.
Yeah.
And he's like, that he is. And he's like, Maker's like, how the fuck do you remember some hedge knight that unhas
16
fucking,
years ago.
yeah, Damon Lannister in the list 20 years ago. And he says, I make it a habit of knowing all my foes. Why would you deign to joust with a hedge knight? And he says that the Baratheons held a tournament for the birth of a grandson years back. And they fought, and they made it his
put me,
opponent.
yeah, the first list.
And the opponent's in the list. He goes, we broke 4 lances before I finally unhorsed him. And Dunk interrupts and goes, it was 7. And then everybody's like,
And the rest of the games again, you keep cutting him, and he's just like, "Are you serious?"
you just like corrected the royalty of the fucking realm, dude.
Next in line.
About what he did?
Yeah. And he did it so humble again so well. He's like, stories get better the more you tell
they
them.
can grow in their telling, I know. But don't think ill of your master. But it was 4 lances, I'm afraid. Not 7.
Yeah, Dunk's like,
oh, of course! It was only 4! Drops to his knees.
He's like, I'm sorry, the old man always used to tell me, you just say, I'm always thick as a castle wall.
And slow as an aurochs.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's no offense.
And he says, stand up again.
Yeah,
sir.
so what, nobody will let you enter the list, And he's like, no. And he's like, well, I don't see any shame.
He says, the decision lies with the game master.
Yeah, with the game, but I don't see any
reason to
you.
deny him.
And then the guy's like, of course not, my lord.
Yeah.
And then nods to Dunk. And Dunk's like, thank you, sir. Well, Maker cuts him off. No, yes, sir, you're grateful. Now fuck off.
Well, actually, there was a part earlier that we kind of skipped over, but he says, I have a sword and shield. And the Lord Ashford goes, that doesn't make him knight or whatever, and kind of leans over to Maekar, like trying to get
a response out of him. Like,
I'm on one of this prince's side, and he just doesn't anything.
And he's just sitting down in the chair like this, like he doesn't
even care.
Like, God, all he cares about is his kids. And that's what Baelor says. You'll have to forgive my brother, He's worried about his sons.
children.
They've gone astray on the road here. Well, I'm sure they won't be found dead, Dunk says.
Makar's like, puts his feet down at the table and looks
Like-
at him. The fuck?
Like, who the fuck is this guy? It's like...
He just goes, and then he's like,
walk the wrong way.
does that again.
Real quick, though, Baelor, which I would want to point out, I should have brought my hand of the Kingpin to show the difference, but his, and we'll show it here, is like a black dragon tail, and at the tail end of it is the black hand of the Kingpin.
It's like the tail, and then it looks like it goes down over his shoulder, and then comes back as the hand. So it's like goes over his shoulder and then back again, so it's like looped.
Around, yeah. It's really badass looking. Really badass looking. So then Dunk leaves, excited that he gets to enter the games. And he is with Dunk. He goes and finds Dunk, who's...
Egg.
Or Egg. Fuck. I'm going to get that right eventually. He goes and finds Egg, who is not back at camp anymore, apparently. He's now back at the tourney grounds. Maybe he never left. He just walked off with the horses. Maybe camp's not that far. Maybe it's not that far. It's just right outside. I always envisioned it as being kind of on the outskirts,
Yeah,
away from...
He even says in the show, he says, let's find quieter accommodation. So
yeah.
It's definitely on the outskirts.
Yeah, so maybe it's close enough that he could go back and get Egg quickly enough. Anyway, Egg is with him when he goes to see Tanzel, the tall girl that does the puppets. They watch a little bit of a puppet show, and they're excited. It's the Florian the Fool puppet show, and I thought that was kind of cool how it shows old school plays and how the people that run the puppets, when they were in a small area, would just wear all black and hold the puppets up and shit.
I thought the life-size puppets was kind of crazy. Like, why wouldn't you just have actors,
Yeah, I guess so, huh? Nobody can act that well. But then they got people speaking the lines, so yeah, why wouldn't they just have actors?
Well, it also kind of plays into later on when they're
Cutting them open
talking.
and
As
stuff.
she was tall, that's what, she got these big-ass puppets,
Yeah.
she can be on stilts or work with them and shit.
Yeah. And the violence that takes place in the puppetry.
Yeah.
You can have a lot cooler looking violence.
Yeah, you can
cut
actually
a puppet's
stab
head
a
off.
mannequin.
Yeah, you can cut a puppet's head off and shit. Yeah. So he goes to her and he flicks her a silver, just like in the books, and says, there you go for that particular puppet show. And then he hands her another one and he says, and that one's for last night. And then Egg is asking questions, which is not in the book because Egg is not there. He's back at camp. It's all mixed around, like he said. But Egg's asking questions like, how do you do the fire tricks? She comes up.
Yeah. He's like, is it pollen? She goes, yeah, we gather it on our way.
And that's kind of cool. I never knew that. I learned something new. Like fucking science class. I never knew you could throw pollen into a fire. I'm going to use that camping now to trick the kids and shit.
I don't know if that's real, though. Like, could just be a Game of Thrones.
Ah! See? Now I've been...
I don't know. It could be. I've done it with sawdust.
There you go. Like, yeah, sawdust works that way, right? So they basically... and then he asked her, do you do all the puppets yourself? And she says, I paint them. My uncle builds them. Oh, so you paint? Could you paint something for me?
Well, in the book, it kind of goes in depth to like not in this part, but like in previous how the dragon looks and everything. Because the previous episode, you saw that big ass dope dragon puppet,
and it goes.
She painted all of that.
Yeah, she painted
so
the elaborate.
She is really good.
And you paint something for me. You know, my shield. I need a new sigil because we did forget that back at that when Baelor, as Dunk was leaving, he said, "Ser Duncan,
if you're not Ser Arlen's blood, you have to come up with a new sigil."
Yeah, it's by law you have to have your own sigil. And then that's when he's like, "Oh, okay, I got to get my shield painted." Now we're back to where we were. And he's drawing a blank. You know, she's like, "Did you have something in mind?" He's like, "Not really, no." And then he just sits there, quiet. And
I think this is why I like they put Egg in this scene, because Egg's like
helping him along.
Yeah, well, she actually helps him first. She goes, "The gray's kind of drab," and he's like, "Oh yeah, the field should be sunset orange because the old man always loves sunsets."
Yeah, and he's like, "And an oak tree."
No, that's what Egg says.
Egg's like, "And an oak tree, the one by the pond
with the brown trunk and the green leaves."
Like, okay.
And he's like, "That'll do, but I want a shooting star over it because they saw the shooting star."
And can you do that? She's like, "Yeah."
He's like, "Great, great," and he goes to leave, and she's like, and he's like, "Oh, my shield."
Yeah, and then they talk about being told. Oh, he's like, "You must think I'm a fool," and she's like, "All men are fools, and all men are knights," which was in a little play, right? And then she says something about, I can't remember why she said she's too tall though. She says that the boys used to call me too tall.
No, yeah, she didn't say why. I think she's just tall.
Yeah.
And she goes, "The boys used to call me Tanzel
too tall." And he's like, "You're not
too tall."
He goes, "No,
you're not too tall. You're just right for..." And he pauses like, "Oh, shit." And then he goes, "Puppets?" And he's like, "Oh, fuck. What'd you just do?" And he corrects it with puppets. He goes, "Yeah, puppets, right."
And then it shows Dunk and Egg sitting in a pavilion while everybody's partying out during the daytime before, the games and stuff, having a good time. And he's like, "Was that handled poorly? Did I, the thing with the puppet girl was, I feel like it was handled poorly." It's like, no, she is painting your shield. Yeah, for money,
He's like, "Well, you're both gigantic." And he's like,
"What's that have to do with anything?"
He goes, "Is that promising?" And he goes, "It's commonality."
Commonality, right.
Commonality, right.
Like he knows what he's talking about.
And he goes, "Do you ever think I'll be a knight?" And I like how this is just another building of their chemistry.
And relationship,
yeah. He's like, "Do you think I could ever be a knight?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure, why not? You seem lively enough." He goes, "People have always called me puny." And he goes,
"You'll grow."
"Yeah, you'll grow. Don't worry about it." And he's like, "Even for my age," he goes, "people used to always call me stupid." And then like a David Putty moment, and Simon just kind of stares off into the games, and then he's like, "And?" He's like, "What?" And he goes, "What'd you do when they called you stupid?" He's like,
"What business is that of yours?"
Yeah.
"My problems are my own."
He's like, "Were you
I thought you were gonna help me. What? Grow?" Like, that shit's so funny. They nailed that shit.
And it kind of plays into like, he seems dumb, but his kind of school of thought about it is like, I'll handle my own shit. Like, it's so simplistic.
Yeah. Living on the road, he's not around people a lot.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, though. It's good stuff. And then it shows the tug of war. And back with Lionel Baratheon. And he is fucking, dude. Even though he's on one scene per fucking...
Join my call to war.
So, yeah, Lionel Baratheon shows up with, "You, Hedge Knight." They're all tug of war, and he's just sitting there holding his drink, and he comes up and he grabs his drink. "What is this piss froth?" and throws it down. And grabs him by the head, "Will you heed my call to war?" And then it plays that fucking, I'm going to use the word again, because it's not a bad word. The gypsy music, okay? It plays that awesome violin and like, that awesome music that just makes it whimsical and fun.
It fits his character so well.
Yeah, fits it so well. And they're just pulling and pulling. Eggs at the front, just pulling. Dunk's at the back because he's the biggest, wrapped around his waist.
He's the anchor.
And they're pulling. And what does Baratheon say? "Come on, dry those hands. We're not in your sister's chambers anymore."
Yeah.
telling people that I'm pulling back and forth, and then he just
And
leaves.
it's Baratheon versus Tyrell.
Is that the main thing? It's
Yeah.
Baratheon and Tyrell against each other, and Baratheon just walks away. I'm thirsty.
Yeah, everybody's like booing at him.
What the
Something's
fuck
like,
are you
"What?
doing?"
I'm
Like-
thirsty. I'll be back.
Egg fucking jumps, wraps his feet around the rope, like holding on like this. Dunk's like pulling, everybody else is slipping. He's the only one that's
Dunk's
really-
he's like, Lionel.
And he's like, "What? I'm thirsty." And he's just like taking a drink, really slowly walking back.
Gives Dunk a slap on the ass.
Yes, yeah. And then walks back to the front, kind of looks.
Yeah, where Egg is, and he turns around and he's like, Paul, you fucking cunt, or something like that.
Yeah. And just pulls, and they eventually pull and win. Big party, celebration, Dunk on the shoulders, right? And then it shows just a quick cut to nighttime. And then Dunk is on his way to get his armor made, which happened a little bit earlier in the story in the books. And he meets, what was the guy's name? Something?
Steely Pete.
Steely Pete. And he, asks, can you make, can I get some armor from
Because you
you?
do good work, and he's like, no one's better. He says, I need some armor. Kind of reads off the list. It's only like 3 things: greaves, helmet.
And what are you working, or are you, competing? And he's like, maybe both. And he looks to his right, and then he sees,
Yeah, and he's like, you're big.
you're a big one, but I've
armor
armored bigger. Yeah. And then he's like, I could do it all for, weapons of the wagon. I don't make anything fancy, nothing gilded gold or
Yeah,
silver.
no pig with wings helmet or fucking...
Or fancy fruit, which
Yeah.
is not the word he uses in the book, but we won't say the word. It's, a little bit more old world.
Do you think he's referring to, not in the book, but when he says fancy fruit, the Bossaways?
Yeah, like a big fancy red apple and
Yeah.
shit on your armor. He's like, but it'll, serve you if you get a lance in the face. And he's like, that's all I need, And he says he wants 800 stags.
Yeah, he's like, I got some items in the wagon, they'll probably fit, 800 stags. And he's like...
Because I'm feeling generous. Because I'm feeling friendly or happy or some shit like that. He's like, I've got 2 stags.
No, he says something, would you take some
Old
smaller
armor.
armor?
For a smaller man, he's like, Steely Pete only sells his own work. And he's like,
Dunk goes to leave, and he's like, but I could probably use the metal for something
if
else.
it's not too rusted, and I'll do the armor for you for 600. And he's like, I got 2.
I got 2 stags. He goes, that'll buy you a day.
If you don't come along, send your squire along with the rest. If you don't have it, I'll sell my work to the next man.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. He's like, all right, you will have it. I mean to be a champion. And then the guy goes, do you now? So all these other people, they just came to cheer you on, huh? Which is in the book. A lot of the humor comes from the book, but a lot of it is just the writers. Like the random, really good humor is the writers.
Yeah, I'd say it's maybe the verbal humor is maybe more written, and the writers are more of like the dancing scene and the dude showing full frontal nude and shit in the woods,
Yeah. And then it goes off Dunk doing the next part of his journey. He needs to sell one of his horses. Now, I thought in the book he says he sells Chestnut. He sells a white horse in this one.
Yeah.
Which is clearly, they named that one Chestnut, the old man was senile as fuck.
I think the white one was supposed to be like the riding horse, because he rides it around like into town and stuff like that. The
Thunder
brown
is his big
one is supposed to be his pack horse, and then the war horse is the darker one.
Yeah, and that's
almost black.
Yeah, and that's the one that's fighting him in the lists, right?
Yeah.
The big tough motherfucker.
So he sells the riding horse and tells her, he's like, hey, as soon as I win enough money,
I'll come back for you because he
I'll come back and buy
he
it.
cares about
It's
it.
sad. Remind me of like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, it did, and because in the book he describes about how a man, Ser Arlen told him a man should never love a horse as he's going to ride so many in his life.
Or you'll lose some in battles and
Yeah,
stuff
and
like
shit like
that.
that. Don't get attached, kind of thing. But he wasn't true to his own word because he would buy like the last of his money he'd spend on an apple for the horse and shit like that. So he was attached to his horses.
Which he does do too. When he sells it, he goes, here's for the horse, and he gives him a couple extra pieces. He's like, make sure she has some oats tonight.
Yeah. Make sure she has some oats. And an apple too, you know. which was all accurate to the book. It was a little bit more in the book of them negotiating price and the saddle and all that stuff, but it was a good heartfelt moment on the show. I think it made it more heartfelt, taking out the heavy negotiation and all that shit.
It was kind of funny in the book where he's like, the horse trader or whatever thought the saddle was included in the price, and Duncan's like, fuck you, I need that, you know. Well, only one.
And he had no doubt that the horse was going to be worth twice as much when he came back to buy it in a few days than when he sold it. But I think it helped bring the whole episode to its point that he's desperate and he's going to do everything.
He's putting everything on this.
Everything. And that's part of his life. That's one of his three. That's his family members. He's got Egg, but he's got the 3 horses and Egg. Now he's got one less horse.
Like when he was talking to Lionel the night before, whatever, he was like, you lose and you go back to your lands and your inheritance. So he goes, if I lose, I'm a fucking beggar.
Yeah, or a thief.
Yeah.
Like, that's it for me. So he goes back to camp, and I liked in the book that it was a little thing that it didn't really show. Oh, no, it doesn't go back. Oh, yeah. He goes to meet with the Egg, not at camp, at the little tent when they're like, it's like a dinner. Almost like they're having dinner.
Oh, yeah.
He's sitting there, they're having a drink and stuff like that. And he talks to Egg about, if I could only win one, if I can win one time. Which in the books he goes back to camp.
I can only call myself a champion of Ashford for an hour or two.
To get a noble house to notice me and maybe take me into their service. Like maybe even the Targaryens. An Egg, a Targaryen, is like...
He's like, do you think they hire hedge knights?
Do you think the Dragon House hires hedge knights, sir? He's like, hey, I'll have you know that Ser Duncan of Duskendale's family were fucking crabbers.
Humble crabbers, and now he's a knight's guard.
Yeah, and he's like, his father owns all the crabbing fleets in Westeros.
Half of the crabbing fleets in Westeros. Which now I'm thinking, like, we have a fucking crabbing CEO in fucking Game of Thrones,
And he's like, how do you know that? I like fishing.
Yeah.
Oh. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
And
that's when the games start.
Yeah, first round of the tourney, which was different because that happened in like the daytime. Like I said, it's all different. We won't go into all that like I just about did. First round of the tourney happens, and they're all revved up, and that's the first time you get to see Valar Targaryen, which is Baelor's son, who, as far as I've gotten in the books, is not a total prick.
Probably takes after his father.
He's more of a pussy in the books. He's more like he doesn't want to fight. He
kind of like Darren.
Yeah.
But he shows up.
Yeah. But he shows up, showing up in his armor, all solid black. No fancy helmet, really, other than it looks kind of like, I want to say, Deathstroke from fucking Warner Brothers or, the Batman universe. It's kind of like just a sleek fiber, awesome looking mask. And they're all gearing up, ready to go. Baratheon and his mask, it's all gated.
And he's got the
antlers, shit, and it's all
I think
gated.
Tyrell's out there. Is he the one that's on the green and yellow?
Yeah, green and yellow with the gold. And then
Tully
comes out and bites the fucking head off the fish and spits it out. Talks about the old gods and the new. And they're all fucking cheering and getting drunk and having a good time. And yeah, you get to see all their cool armor, their horses, and how they decorate themselves for, which would not be practical battle.
Yeah, but this
like
is for show.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like how Lionel says in the previous episode. He goes, hundreds of years ago, we just came out and decided to go at each other with these sticks.
Yeah,
and like man couldn't have come up with this. This isn't
barbaric
like fighting like that. This is a competition where you show it's honorable.
And like people yield and shit like that.
Yes, that's why they dress up for these ones. It's it's like Hunger Games. It's like to get the crowd. It's gladiators.
Spend more
football.
Money. Yeah,
it's they need to see something.
Yeah,
otherwise they're getting
depressed. Yeah, they're gonna be depressed, and it brings coin to the city. Everybody comes to sell all their shit. All the people come to drink and party and whore and all that shit. And
it's not like you see in most movies where it's like one-on-one, like. This guy versus this guy. And
they did it 5-on-5.
Yeah.
5-on-5, just riding at each other hard.
Do you think it's like a little foreshadowing or something?
I don't know, but
because I don't think they went into depths on that in the book. I don't think they said how the game's really. Like,
No, they said it's all up to the master of the games, and they didn't say
and
why.
Or they could just challenge each other. Like,
yeah,
you could, like kind of like how Egg said, you could ride up to Lionel, hit his shield, and turn his asshole into a lance. Well, like,
yeah, you could pick a fight with him that way. And some other tournaments did giant melees, which is everybody against everybody, like Battle Royale wrestling, where everybody just get in the battle with all your weapons and beat the shit out of each other.
I think it's kind of like in like Gladiator and stuff, or Spartacus or whatever, where they would do like reenactments, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. So then they fucking get tromping, and you can just hear the
5-on-5
and fucking roosh and then
that
fast
clash.
shield, and none of them fall off just at first, but then they quickly turn around, and it's cool
because they're tossing lances.
They have guys that
squires or whatever are launching them up in the air, and they're snatching them out.
Snapping the horses on the asses to get them running in the other direction.
Yes, they come down, drop, grab a new, flip around. They're smacking ass, and they're going.
And that's like an accomplishment. If you don't fall and you break lances on each other, that's like, hell yeah!
Yeah.
Do it again. And how many lances? That's why like 4 lances and 7 lances was a big difference in the story. And
yeah,
how
it didn't take you that long to get rid of Ser Arlen.
Yeah. And then it shows, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure it shows Tyrell fall. Fucking head over fucking
No, I think that's totally. I think Tyrell's the one that he comes around and does like a little rodeo or circus. He leans off his horse on his side and snatches like a lance or a shield or something off the ground, and then gets back on his horse and keeps going.
Yeah.
It was a sick little
quick
combat montage thing.
Yeah, really badass, and it causes like Dunk to have post-traumatic.
Yeah, Egg's just sitting there, and Dunk's just watching.
Having post-traumatic.
It looks like he's never seen a tourney before.
Yeah, and he's picturing the old man dead and shit like that. But before that, right before the PTSD moment, I noticed that Egg looks up at the crowd, and when they first get there, he does, and he's not worried about his family being up there. He's not even thinking about them seeing him. But after a moment, he looks at the people when they're switching lances.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at all of them, and he looks down at his hands and clenches his fist, and then he goes, "Can I get down, sir?" And he looks stressed out after that. And even Dunk looks like, "Okay, I'll put you down."
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is. I wonder what that is. That wasn't in the book.
First watch, I thought maybe he was thinking the knights might recognize him.
Like the ones on horseback.
Yeah, because they're well-known knights.
Yeah.
You know, weirdly enough, he does not worry about Lionel.
Yeah.
But maybe his cousin or
yeah,
whatever.
definitely Valar.
Valar. Maybe some of the other ones that were
right past.
Yeah.
And once all the death settled,
this thing also kind of gave me the idea of he wants to be a knight. You know.
He wants to be part of the fight.
Yeah.
Stand up for being good.
Know. I don't know the symbolism there, but
yeah, it's gonna be good though. And yeah, Dunk had like he saw Ser Arlen in the grave. He fucking saw like the arrow come out. He was just like seeing battle trauma.
Yeah.
Almost like stressed. Like
I watched Ser Arlen get his ass handed to him all the time.
Yeah.
He was never a champion, basically.
Yeah. What chance do I have?
What am I gonna do?
Back at camp, he's basically talking. Egg is die, you Blackfire bastards, die!
I think that they're gonna be in this.
Yeah, the Blackfire Rebellion
and the Blackwood. What's their rival? Or not, whatever. The from House of the Dragon, the two that are always rivals.
The Blackfires and the Brackens and the.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be
involved in it.
Not significantly, but I think they're gonna.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of descendants from this in like House of the Dragons.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really weird. Like we talked before, when the Egg's older brother. He's got to be 140 or 140 in fucking Game of Thrones.
What age did they decide he was useless and send him to the fucking Citadel? Because he's got to be.
And Brienne's Dunk's.
But he was old enough to give Egg, like the nickname Egg, and old enough to remember him of being a child, and him being old enough to like hold him like.
So that's what I'm thinking. So let's say Egg's like 7 or 8, then Aemon has to be
at least 20 right now.
No, I'm thinking like 15, 16.
But that's still 75
at the Citadel, and then 100 years later, so he's 120, 130 in Game of Thrones. Yeah, crazy.
Fucking good.
Anyway, Egg's fucking you Blackfire bastards, you know. Dunk's just kind of
melancholy.
Yeah, he's in his own head,
and he says, "Look, fantastic riding this evening. The fish was disgusting and all that." And then he's like, "Something wrong, sir?" And that's when he talked about, is it right for is it good for a knight to live in the hedges?
He's like, Ser Arlen always told me the hedge knight was the most noble or whatever.
Yeah. But live our life in the hedges. He lived 60 years, never was a champion, died by the side of the road.
No one remembers him.
Nobody remembers him. Had no friends.
He's like, maybe he wasn't the best knight.
Yeah, he wasn't. He drank, he whored, he gambled. What chance do I have? And he's like, but you know what? He was good to me. And I'm his legacy.
Yeah, he brought me up right. So.
Yeah. To come to morning, we're going to show them what he wrought.
Yeah.
And just take a big old bite out of the salt beef, which I'm guessing is why they named the episode. But
well, that was when they were showing the flashbacks of him and Arlen.
Oh yeah,
they're under the tree, and he gives them some salt beef, and then they just both start laughing their asses off in the rainstorm under a tree.
And it was sad. He was upset, and I think that was the whole idea of the whole episode, with like the sadness of the horse, rather than doing the funny thing that happened in the book with the haggling, is to show that he's going all out, and fuck, he's got to do better than. There's got to be better than living to 60 and dying on the side of the road. I've got to do better than that.
Well, I kind of think it plays into your title, The Shit Knight, and after the credits and everything, they kind of talk to the showrunner, whatever you want to call him, and they were like, yeah, the reason why we gave him this massive prosthetic or whatever is because the rest of the episode we're shitting all over him.
We're talking about how he wasn't a very good fighter. Yeah. Nobody remembers him.
Yeah, so we had to give him something.
He's only going to be in this season, for God's sakes.
Yeah. But it was a nice, cut credits of tomorrow they're going to see what he wrought.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to show them what kind of a man he was and who he could bring up.
Yeah. Now, maybe if you don't remember him, but I'll show you.
Yeah, I'll make you remember.
Yeah, I'll make you remember. And until next time, we'll see you then.